Hello and welcome to the Graveyard Media Podcast, episode 29 for the week of January 12th, 2018. I did it right this time.
Hooray.
I'm your host, Saine Grey. With me is co-hosts Dalsson.
It's me.
And Thel, who is totally, in the corner over there.
Huh? Oh.
There you go. Okay. We're going to start off by talking about games and movies we've checked out this week, and then head into video game and movie news. Who wants to start this week?
Why doesn't Thel start?
I didn't do shit. I don't know why you want me to start. I played D&D with you guys, and that's about it.
Is it really? Is that really all you
Yeah, I didn't do anything this week. I mean, I played some Eve, but,
That's kind of...
You want to talk about Eve for a few minutes?
Okay, so, I'll fucking... Alright, so...
It's kind of a joke.
I killed someone in Eve. I blew someone up. What happened was I was going... What? Yeah, like a real person.
Nice.
So what happened was, I was going to go fucking ratting in Lowsec, which is just killing NPC spaceships in a place where dudes can jump in and fucking kill you.
Ratting means you're killing
the NPC space.
NPCs.
Yeah.
It's like
rather
it's
than
PvE.
going and doing PvP. So I jump in, I start fighting this fucking battleship, which is a little bit bigger than me, but it's an NPC, so I can take it. It's not that big of a deal. I jump in, I put all my stuff on it, and we start having a nice little battle. It's really great, it's a pretty even match. So this guy looks at me like, this dude's bitten off more than he can chew, jumps in, puts a goddamn thing that keeps me from warping out, all over me. And this guy has the audacity to say, you better be careful there. So, unfortunately, this man was not prepared for me. Instead of attacking the battleship, I turn all my shit onto him, including the drone that was attacking one of the battleship's friends. And now, the battleship was like, what the fuck, dude? We were having a nice little fight here. Everything was going good. And so the battleship starts attacking the motherfucker, too.
Nice.
That man didn't fucking survive very long. That's what he fucking gets for being an asshole.
It's true.
And that's it. That's all I have to talk about.
You really need some warp stabilizers.
I mean, sure, but then again, I can just blow people up. Even without the battleship, that man was not as prepared for me as he thought he was.
Right.
I think he did play some Secret World with us, but I don't really have anything new to add.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot new stuff about Secret World.
Well, I can jump in with what I've played this week then, I guess.
Okay.
So, I finally got some of my VR games up and running. And actually, you know what? Before I talk about Super Hot, I think I'm gonna talk about In Death first. That's the game I played first of the two.
Sounds good.
So In Death is this early access VR title right now, that's pretty popular right now, from what I've seen. It's kind of a roguelike or roguelite kind of archery game where you go through and shoot people with arrows, stuff like goblin. I think they're like zombies, other archers, and night people. Not gotten very far in it at all because I'm bad at it.
Oh, that sucks.
So, but I don't know, playing it, I think part of it is because I have a Windows mixed reality headset. It doesn't fully track my bow when I'm pulling back. Because for those of you who don't know how the Windows mixed reality headsets work versus the Vive, for instance, is the Vive uses lighthouses to track in the room, in the space with the position of the controllers, and it's really accurate. The Windows mixed reality headsets have two cameras on the front of them that use the field of view to track the controllers. So when you're pulling back a bow, it's not seeing this because it's behind your head.
Right.
It works okay. It's not like it's unplayable because of it.
But it's certainly hard.
But yeah, it's not super accurate.
I see.
So, and the game is kind of early, so it's not super polished, and there's kind of weird things about it. So playing it, I was like, did I spend $300 on something that was kind of a huge waste? Talking about the Windows mixed reality headset.
Right.
Yeah.
But and that kind of leads me into the next game I got. I picked up 4 other games that I have not had time to try them all yet. But the first one I did try was Super Hot VR, Okay. Which totally redeemed my thoughts about VR. Like,
good.
Granted, this game is very short compared to like real games, and even compared to like actual Super Hot. Super Hot was already considered short, sort of. But I kind of beat the game in about an hour, and that was like an hour of me failing on certain parts over and over again. But
right.
the I don't know, like it's feeling of presence of being in the game is like really cool in a way that it really wasn't in Death. Like I don't know. There's something cool about like picking up guns and like shooting people and then grabbing their guns and shooting other people. It's like in the same way that Super Hot was really like felt really rewarding about, you know, how you just play the game even. The VR version was like kind of that to another level almost.
Okay.
Of the two, I'd probably play just vanilla Super Hot more because it's longer. But VR, I'll probably go back to from time to time because it really does show off what makes VR cool.
Right.
The only thing is, I don't know if this is like a Windows mixed reality issue or if it's just a Super Hot VR issue. Because, like I said, I don't have a 5, but the way that you throw weapons, like you throw items in the game, is clicking the trackpad, which.
Right.
I believe that's probably the same on the 5 because I think that's supposed to be an analog for the same trackpad. So that doesn't feel very good because like you pick something up and then like if it's a gun you shoot with the trigger and that's fine. Like that works perfectly. But when you try to pick up like an object, you have to like try to throw it and using the trackpad to release the throw, and it feels like moving your thumb across the trackpad influences how you throw it. It just, I don't know, it feels very messy, and I never feel like I can throw anything where I want to. Which,
right.
kind of a problem if a lot of the intention of parts of that game is to use stuff like throwing daggers and like coffee cups you'll throw at people and beer bottles and stuff, but it just doesn't feel that good.
Right.
So like, on the parts that were especially heavy in throwing objects, I just was having a lot of trouble progressing.
I see.
So, I don't know. But, you know, overall, I really liked the game. I also have a Fruit Ninja VR, which I know is kind of just like a mini-game kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have something called...
Well, I mean, Super Hot's kind of a mini-game because of the length. I didn't make the noises this time. I just thought that the visual would be good enough, and it probably was. You got the point across.
Except for people who are just listening.
In my brain,
Fuck!
I was really thinking about it, but yeah, I was kind of adding that tis in my brain.
It's just like the sound just happened.
Yeah, it was actually weird that I didn't hear the sound, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I also picked up Siriento VR, which is a game that just came out, which is kind of a like cyberpunk, just sword and guns kind of weird neon game. So I haven't tried that yet, but I'm kind of excited to try that one out. That one's supposed to be more of like a game, like a longer like actual game instead of like Super Hot, which is like kind of a collection of
levels.
Yeah,
in a very short sort of.
Right. Although I haven't tried Siriento, so it could also just be that for all I know. But the other one I picked up was Arizona Sunshine. Just got an update. And the reason why I picked up so many VR games, in addition to just like I got a VR headset, so I want a bunch of games, is Humble Bundle is doing a VR showcase sale right now. So I was like, cool, this is perfect timing. I could buy like 4 or 5 VR games. So that's cool. Yeah, so I'll put more time into that. I just haven't. I mean, the fact that I was able to play 3 games at all was kind of crazy. Yeah. I've just been super busy lately.
Yeah, same.
So those are the VR games I've tried, and those are pretty cool. I'm would have been hesitant to recommend picking up one of those mixed reality headsets before I tried Super Hot, but after trying Super Hot, it did kind of sell me on it in a way that the games that I tried before that kind of hadn't. So The next game I want to talk about is Hob. There is okay, so last year in about August, which there are probably a ton of games last year that just totally were under the radar because so much was coming out last year.
Right.
This was the most recent game from the studio who made Torchlight, Runic Games.
Okay.
And this is kind of like a so when I first saw it, it was likened to kind of like a 3D Zelda clone,
Yeah.
or something along those lines. I kind of, the more I played it, it feels more like a 3D interpretation of a like Metroidvania, more so than that, because like Zelda has aspects of that, but it doesn't, to me, Zelda doesn't feel like that. It feels a lot more about, like, yes, there's like item gates and stuff, but that's not, it doesn't feel like a power the same way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas Hob definitely feels like, okay, you unlocked this thing that lets you punch through walls, and now you can go back and go to all of the places that had walls you could punch. Like,
Right.
Zelda feels like Ocarina of Time, for instance, feels more linear in that sort of progression, whereas Hob feels like you are in a map and there's lots of places where you can kind of go through once you have this power. Similar to games like Hollow Knight or, you know, Metroid.
Yeah. Super Metroid, or Metroid the Metroid.
Mm-hmm. And even to a greater extent than something like Castlevania, which, like, Castlevania has more like actual gates that locks progression in places, whereas Metroid feels like there are spots all over the place where you can go back to.
Yeah.
And I guess Castlevania has a little bit of that, but either way, Hob definitely feels like that.
Chicken and walls.
Although what might kind of give you that Zelda feel is it is sort of like a top-down, almost like top-down, not quite isometric. It does play with the camera a little bit, but for the most part you're watching from above. And you have like a sword and a shield, so it's that kind of thing. That's where the Zelda influence comes in for me. I wouldn't say like the level design is very Zelda-esque. It's more the combat is like almost 2D Zelda-esque. Which I like. But more analog, you know, not so much like, I don't know, 4 gates the same way like as you would on a traditional Super Nintendo Zelda. Not tile based is kind of what I'm saying. It's more analog.
Yeah.
I would recommend a controller for that game, but definitely like I would say that especially for how cheap that game is, it's worth digging into.
Nice.
I think I probably picked it up on a sale, but like, let's see. I don't know what. Just see what it is at full price. $20? Yeah. And I'd say that's probably worth it. If you're hesitant or on the fence about it at all, pick it up on a sale. It's definitely worth trying out. That's it for this week for me. I didn't watch any movies or anything. I even watched this. Let me talk about Altered Carbon for a minute.
Sounds good.
Oh yeah, because you finished it.
Yeah, I watched the second half of it. Man, it's been a long week. I totally forgot that was even part of this week. Yeah, so I've watched the second half of Altered Carbon, and it did continue to impress the entire way through.
Nice.
There are parts early on that they kind of talk about, but they don't really go into depth. And the second half of the season definitely like goes back and explains the, you know, how certain things kind of happened. In a way that's cool because it wraps it up into a neat package. Early on, it seems like there's a lot of like, it almost feels contrived because it's like, why is this stuff happening? This seems like a really far way to go for some of the things they're trying to accomplish. But in the end, it like wraps it up and makes it make a lot of sense about why all of the things happened the way they did. There's some characters that they introduce you to later on that like are interesting, if not a little bit. I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation calling a character a Mary Sue in this sort of show because, and I wouldn't say any character is a Mary Sue, but it's like they're there are characters who are very good at a lot of different things, but in a weird way, it's like that kind of makes sense in a situation where you're living hundreds of years, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You got to remember that Mary Sue's also well, one of the big parts of a Mary Sue is that they are loved by everyone for completely no reason, and no one has any idea why.
Yeah. Well, and to a greater extent, have no flaws, or
right.
only have flaws that just function to make them more appealing to other people, right?
Yeah.
Whereas characters in this show definitely all have flaws. Like all of them have flaws in an interesting way, but there are a couple characters who is just really good at everything, and you're like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like
Wesley.
in the scheme of things, it kind of makes sense. No, even more so than Wesley. Wesley probably was actually a Gary Stu or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas none of the characters are quite to that level. It's like they have a large variety of skills, but that makes sense in a situation where they're living for like 400 years. So
yeah. Sure.
But yeah, the ability to do like everything, it's like, especially if it's explained like this, then it's like, okay, these people had more time to learn how to do this shit. It makes sense, you know? It's consistent with the world.
And their backstory kind of gives them a reasoning for why they might have those abilities in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like out of nowhere someone is a ninja and can run up walls and cut people in half with swords. It's like all of that is sort of explained. It's just at the end point of it, it's like, wow, that person sure can do a lot of bullshit. I don't know. But I really liked it. And all of the characters are really interesting and multifaceted. In a way that you don't get in a lot of stuff very often. All of the characters are distinctly different and interesting, I thought. Which a lot of times, like, usually you have a couple of, like, foreground characters who are interesting and a bunch of, like, side characters who, like, I don't know, like, might almost be stereotypical or two-dimensional just to serve the purpose of being there. Whereas I think all of the characters they do explore to at least some extent, which is... I definitely liked the writing in Altered Carbon, especially for a cyberpunk thing, which, not to say cyberpunk is poorly written ever, but there are definitely better examples and there are worse examples in the cyberpunk genre. That a lot of it's just stereotypical, whereas this definitely seems like it makes sense. Everything makes sense in this, which is good.
Yeah, that is good.
And I'm sad that there's a bunch of stuff that's just, you know, stereotypical cyberpunk. I'm sad that that's even a thing.
I don't know. Some of it is like stereotypical and some of it's aesthetic. So like, I'm willing to forgive you putting neon over everything because it's like, in my mind, yeah, that's the cyberpunk aesthetic. That's okay.
Yeah, there it is. There's the fucking
Yeah, but I don't know, when it comes to like augmented people with like their robot arms and stuff, like a lot of that sometimes gets like there are characters in cyberpunk that you see often. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely recommend Altered Carbon if you have like, this is the kind of show that I would almost recommend someone pick up a Netflix subscription to watch this and like Stranger Things and a handful of the other like really good ones.
Specifically for those.
And also other stuff that just, you know, exists on Netflix. You can watch Better Call Saul on Netflix if you want. You don't want to watch it on AMC when it comes out.
Yeah. So I definitely would.
Which is never.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about Altered Carbon. I didn't watch a movie this week because nothing was playing.
Yeah.
Like the movies we were kind of contemplating this week was either watching Paris 1715 or whatever, which has like a Rotten Tomatoes score of like 30.
Jesus.
Or Winchester, which is a horror movie with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 10.
Yeah,
so,
I remember that one.
And I saw the trailer for Winchester, and I was like interested in Winchester. Like it's not often that I see a horror movie trailer. I'm like, yeah, that looks cool. But apparently it's garbage, so I didn't even bother watching it.
There is a horror movie that I'm excited about that I'm just going to throw out a thing for real quick. Mostly just so I remember to watch it at some point when it actually comes out.
Okay.
Heraldry. It is a movie about someone's grandma who has a cursed house. Apparently, it's fucking fantastic.
Like that Japanese movie.
That was
you
kind
told
of
me.
the premise of Winchester, so maybe I'll just watch that instead.
Okie dokie. All right. So yeah.
Okay. Dalsson, what have you been playing this weekend?
Well, tell you the truth, I don't really remember. I've played more of Overlord 2, so let me dive a little bit deeper into that. I was saying last week I really like all of the like new kind of stuff they added, like new mechanics. You know, your minions can mount up on stuff, and that gives them some new abilities. One thing that I was a little disturbed at is that the Reds could no longer throw fire while following you. You had to place them on a guard marker. So your Reds had to be stationary in order to throw fire. And I was like, why? That seems like such a basic thing to remove. It's because when they get their mounts, which are little salamanders that roll around, then they can start throwing fire on the move. So at least I kind of understand why they took it away from them now. It's weird, but you know, it makes a little more sense now. But I found a big problem with it in that it seems anyway that they made the game really, really short compared to the first one. In the first one, there were 7 bosses, each of them representing the 7 deadly sins, and that drug out the game a lot. And then if you're not even including the DLC, which is 7 new levels for each of the bosses, basically going through them over again with new puzzle mechanics and stuff. And in this one I've went to one town, took it over, went to another town, took it over, went to a third town, and now I haven't beaten it, but now everybody's talking about the final battle, what they're referring to as the final battle. I don't know if it's actually going to be the final battle, but the only 3 characters they've really told me about, like this is the third guy that they've really told me is
It does sound like that might be one of the points where they take you out and it's actually there's more games. So that is hard to say, I guess.
Yeah, I'm really hoping so, but it feels really weird if it is the end, because I just got my last minion color. Like I just got it, and then they're like, "All right, you've got the Tower Heart now. They can assist you in the final battle depending on what mistress you choose." So it's like, and then there was like one little thing I did that, like an extra quest before the final battle, but it was ultimately pointless. It didn't give me anything extra. So, but what I know for a fact that there's 3 spells in the game, and I've explored fully every area I've been to. So unless the final area has the final spell, it may be one of those fake out points. I'm really hoping it is.
Yeah, because that would be disappointing if it would just happen to be really short.
Yeah, I think Overlord 2 took me like 3 or 4 weeks to beat, or Overlord 1 took me like 3 or 4 weeks to beat, and I have barely been playing Overlord 2 for like 3 days at like, what, 2 hours a session. So I don't know. I'm really hoping that there's more to it.
Yeah.
Because I know there isn't a DLC. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
What is Shakes and Fidget?
Oh, it's just some shitty. It's just some shitty.
Is it not even worth talking about?
It's not even worth talking about. Basically, it's like I played it for like an hour. It was like you go to the tavern, you accept a quest, and then you wait for you to travel to the quest. Just stare at a waiting screen, and then you kill an enemy in one hit and come back and get gold. Like that's all. That's all there is.
That does sound pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's not even. It's basically an idle game. Like,
oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. There wasn't much.
Well, if that excites you, Watcher, it is free on Steam, so.
Yeah.
But then again, lots of things are free on Steam.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about Little Nightmares for a little while?
Oh, okay, yeah. That is actually a game that I did play this week.
Yeah.
That I completely
I
forgot
totally
about.
It's been a long week.
I kind of loved it. There was some quote unquote, we called it fighting with the controls, but that was just sort of the control scheme. The control scheme is very interesting.
Keyboard and mouse control scheme.
Yeah. 'Cause
Strongly recommended that
my
you play with a
controller straight up broke making this Hollow Knight video. He was sacrificed for the greater good of a fucking stupid ass YouTube video. I hope he's proud of himself. He should be. He gave up a good fight, but I had to play Little Nightmares with my keyboard.
Give him a proper Viking burial.
I think some of that is just like the problem that you run into in a lot of games with climbing, in that some things you can climb on and some things look like you can climb on.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the story of anything with climbing.
Yeah.
That is.
And then there's some things that you can climb on that you don't, like, there's no point to doing it. They're just there.
Ooh. And hold on a second. And also, I think like the viewpoint, like where the camera is and like how you move from point to point, like with that, I feel like it works better with like analog stick.
Yeah,
right.
Probably.
Yeah, so, and it's kind of, it has a interesting
having a full range of motion instead of just 8 directions.
Right. We should actually talk about a little bit about what Little Nightmares is. So it is a kind of linear.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Horror-esque game?
Yeah, a horror-esque game.
Platformer.
Sort of platformer. Because that's like the main mechanic.
That's probably, that's the closest we're gonna get. It has a really cool art style, though. It looks very similar to,
Henry Selick. It's got that Henry Selick thing going on. It looks like Coraline, a little bit of,
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas, that sort of stuff. It's got that, that fucked up modern fucked up Mother Goose look. That stuff that was pretty popular around like the early 2000s, late 90s, that sort of thing. It's got that whole thing going for it. You ever see the movie 9? If you like the look of that movie, you're gonna like this game.
I always think of Coraline because of the raincoat. Like the main character has a yellow raincoat, so I always just think of Coraline.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Main character also is an elephant, so that's nice,
Our main character has a teapot for a head.
Yeah,
apparently is an option.
Because he's dressed up as an elephant.
Yeah, it's for Halloween.
Yeah, and also it's kind of like a physics puzzler in places.
Yeah, a little bit.
So like
it's pretty neat with the physics mechanics that you can do.
Yeah, there's stuff like dragging chairs around to reach like doorknobs. There's like there was one level with a piano that was swinging back and forth. You gotta jump across the piano.
I remember we ran into a point where Thel dragged a chair over to a door to reach a doorknob, and he had the chair backwards, so he had to like go to each side and just turn it slightly further and further until it was facing the right direction. That was fun.
Yeah, and we're planning on making some kind of video with that, but we haven't decided how we're gonna do that yet. So keep a lookout for that because it's super cool game.
Yeah. It's also, it has that survival horror thing going on. The gameplay is not like super inventive. It's pretty much the same gameplay you're gonna find in a bunch of stuff, but that ain't why you play this game.
I wouldn't call it a survival horror. It's more of just a horror, because a survival horror implies resource management.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, there's a mechanic where you get hungry, but like
that's not even a mechanic. That's clearly like a story.
It doesn't happen, like there's no hunger meter or anything. It's just like it happens at story beats, and then
and it looks great. Everything works really well. All of the monsters that you have to deal with are varied and interesting, and they all look really fun. And the game is just it's a bucket of fun to play.
We've named them.
We've named them. Yes.
Yeah, we're going through naming all of the enemies that are trying to kill us.
I forget half of their names. I remember Fish'ems.
Okay,
I remember Charlie McMurder's Children.
Yeah,
was the
Charlie
first one.
Charlie McMurder's Children. Yes.
Fucking.
You can guess what he does.
Yeah, he murders children. Fish'ems was the first. We only thought that there was one cook man without fucking knees. There are two.
I was really hoping to name him Butcher Pete, but being that there were
named
two
the other
of them,
one Butcher Pete.
We named the other one Butcher Pete.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was great.
What was
that man
his
does
last?
not
It
know
was
how to cook.
what? It was like Fisham's something.
Fisham's was his like nickname.
Yeah.
But you know, all of the characters have a very like interesting aesthetic to them and kind of design.
Yeah.
So that's why it kind of lends itself to naming them just because they're so weird.
Yeah.
They're so unique, yeah.
And like so a lot of the games like we play on this it's like I'm playing them because like you know I want to we got to do this for this thing. I'm actually really excited to play more of Little Nightmares. I really love it.
Yeah.
Little Nightmares was definitely fun. I enjoyed just watching it.
Yeah.
There were points where it was like really frustrating because I knew exactly what to do and I would say it and you guys would like, nah. And
Well,
then
the
it
reason
turns
for
out
that
that's
was
what
because
you had
you were
to do.
muted.
No, not 1 point, multiple points.
Okay.
And then later it turned out that's what you had to do anyway, and I was like, I wish I was playing this.
Fair enough.
I don't remember what you're talking about. I don't remember that happening at all, but
I remember the first time, but that was because you were straight up muted.
I was muted for like 4 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, and when me and Saine were passing back things, and at one point I was like, Dalsson, do you have any suggestions? And you were like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Well, there was at least one point where I think the issue was not that Thel wasn't listening, it was that he kept dying. So
yeah,
if you're talking about the part with the like,
yeah, that's one that stands out in my mind. But like, I was like, I was sitting there like, Thel, just be more patient. Just wait 1 more second for him to.
well, here's the thing. I didn't count on those guys not having knees. What I thought was if they looked down there that they would find me and get me. But the thing is, they didn't have knees, and they couldn't.
they
bend
they
could
down.
had no object permanence.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
have completely zero object permanence.
Those fish lip fuckers where they like looked under a table. They were like, oh, there you are.
I'm gonna go put more hot dogs in the stew.
Yeah, I'm gonna go put some. Just throw some sausages into the stew there.
Excuse me, waiter. There is an entire fucking hot dog in the stew. Yes, that's our chef's specialty. That's really all he can make. We've locked him in there for his own safety.
We call it oat de hot dog.
We locked him in the room full of knives and beer bottles.
Is this broth just water? You're going to have to be very. The chef
it's
is
sausage
very
water.
good. He is a gourmet. The best chef we have on this boat. In fact, the best chef currently in international waters, probably.
Now eat your fucking poached sausage stew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just fucking cuts up a bunch of meat and doesn't do. He just all right. Well, I cut this meat up. Time to move on.
Yeah. So Little Nightmares is coming out. Definitely check it out. I super recommend it. It's probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Give
It's
that
really
game
interesting.
A fucking shot. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I kind of love it. It's great.
All right. So that's all the games and movies we've checked out this week.
Excellent.
Got through it in a quick half an hour. That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do much this week. We was all busy.
It was because we were playing Secret World.
Yeah. I was also playing WoW.
You want to talk about WoW?
A little bit, I guess. I started up. Okay.
Gotta fill up time here.
Here's the awful story here that I've gotten. I was playing World of Warcraft with my buddy Noxrob.
Already awful story. Yeah, go on.
Because he's cool. Yeah, playing WoW. That's where it starts to get awful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was leveling a paladin with him, but because of the new leveling changes, you don't really have to be the same level. You just have to be the same ballpark. Like you can play with anybody 1 to 60. You can play with anybody 60 to 80, and you can play with anybody 80 to 100, and then 100 to 110 is the new content. New. It's like a year old now, but the Legion content. So he was about 10 levels ahead of me, and I was like, whatever, it's fine. I have a Death Knight at level 80. I'll just switch over to my Death Knight because that's what I really want to play. I want to get one of those to max level. That'll be fun. And so we were playing. We were playing for ages, like forever, like 2 or 3 weeks, just leveling because it does take quite a while to level with these new changes. My paladin hit about level 70 or so, and he's at level 79. He's like, "Oh, 1 more level till I can play with your Death Knight." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go log on to my Death Knight and fly it out to Orgrimmar." And then I switched out to my Death Knight, and I wasn't even thinking. and I spawned in Stormwind. And I was like, okay, now how do I get to Orgrimmar? Oh no. This is an Alliance character. My Death Knight is a Worgen. I can't go to Orgrimmar. I can't even play with this guy because he's on Horde. Fuck.
Why don't you just use the character you were leveling with him?
Because it took us 3 weeks to get him from level 70 to 80. So
why don't you use the character that was
yeah.
With the scaling, you were using a low level character with him.
Yeah, exactly. I was 10 levels behind him, so it would take me just as long to catch up that character as it would to level a Death Knight that I wanted. So I decided it would be better for me to just level up a Death Knight. And I am. And let me tell you, Death Knights are fucking yoke. They are like impossible to kill. It's so good. I love it more than my Paladin. I love them so much. I'm blood spec, tank spec, Death Knight. Man, it's fun. And it's a lot easier to level than a DPS because you get really fast dungeon queues and you can just go rush through all those quests instead of open world stuff.
So what are you trying to do? So are you just trying to level up that character to catch up then?
Yeah, I'm just trying to catch him up to 80, and Rob keeps bugging me about it. He's like, quit your fucking podcast, go level. But he also has a level 100 character boost that he just isn't using, and I have a level 100 Horde character that I could just play with him, but I don't know. It's dependent. So that's all there really is to WoW. It's just more leveling stuff. The new leveling changes.
Are you excited for the new expansion?
I am. I'm actually really excited for Battle for Azeroth. Because of the few unlockable factions. Some of them sound really strong. Yeah. Like they have a High Mountain Tauren, I believe, and those High Mountain Tauren just get like a straight 5% reduction to damage taken. Like as a racial. They look slightly different. They look a little more tribally. They're not the Tauren specifically aren't super different, but they do have Nightborn, which are a dark-skinned elf for the Horde faction. It always bothered me that the Alliance got Night Elves, which looked like dark elves. And then the Horde had Blood Elves, which looked like High Elves. So there is now like a dark elf, quote unquote, for the Horde faction, which is kind of neat. They're also crazy because they just get a straight boost to magic damage and mana regeneration. Like the racials that they gave to these races, I think, are just a little too strong compared to
the rest
of the other racials. Yeah.
Well, isn't one of them is just like your casting isn't interrupted while you take damage?
That was it. That's what the Nightborn get. So when you take damage, it sets your casting back by like a half second, so it takes longer to cast spells if you're taking damage. Nightborn do not get any spell cast time reduction for taking damage, so they can just like tank while casting interruptible spells. It's pretty crazy. Which also sounds really crazy for PvP. It'll make them really. It'll make like. You can play them as a mage class and still be strong against like these classes that have like instant cast abilities that would normally cut your spells back a little bit. Yeah. But I think the thing that I'm most excited for in Battle for Azeroth is going to be they haven't really released a lot of details about it, but they're saying that they're retooling classes to feel unique again. As in like actually bringing something unique to the table. Like Because as it's been for the last couple of years, it's like a warrior, a rogue, whatever, a shaman that has melee weapons. You know, they're all going to be the same thing. You're a little bit tankier than range classes. You have instant spells, and you just kind of deal some damage. And all you really have to think about is how the resource is managed differently. What they want to do is kind of bring unique things like. Now, this isn't even speculation. This is just examples for the sake of examples, and they have not said anything like this. But, like, maybe a warrior would have stronger CC by being able to stun something for longer, but a rogue would actually get legitimate bonuses for sneaking around or something instead of just being able to stealth. So it brings a little bit of uniqueness back to a class. That way, instead of having to balance all the classes and say, okay, well, this is their benchmark DPS, and we want all the classes to be about the same in benchmark DPS, and that's the only uniqueness.
That's a good idea.
They want to add abilities to, like, specific abilities to classes that make them unique. Not just to play, but, like, have a unique reason to bring a class into a raid.
That does sound cool.
Yeah.
I heard they might be tying up some of the storylines too, because or do we know anything about that?
I haven't been following any of the storylines,
really?
But I'm pretty sure that, like, yeah, I played through, like, the beginning of Legion. Like, I pretty much beat all of Legion.
Legion was a
when it came
prequel.
out.
I think it's actually tying up stories from, like Cataclysm, Wrath of the Lich King, stuff that's just been hanging out for ages.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But I know that they wrapped up the Legion storyline. Like, eventually, as everybody expected, you got to go to Argus, which was the planet that the intergalactic planet eater demons came from. And you took the fight to them, and, like, actually, because I guess if you kill a demon in Azeroth, I mean, they just fuck off back to Argus to get their power back. But if you kill a demon in Argus, they're dead because they don't have anywhere to fuck off to get their power back. So
okay.
So they struck a decisive blow there. Like, that's the like end level raid is something on Argus. I don't really know what I'm talking about, so correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. But
and then they respawn.
I mean, yeah, sure, then they respawn from a game mechanic standpoint. A week later, if you're in a raid.
Yeah.
But yeah, Battle for Azeroth also seems to be going back. That is a good point. They probably are tying up some more storylines with Battle for Azeroth, because in Legion it was like the planet is going to fucking blow up if us Alliance and Horde don't work together. And in Battle for Azeroth, we're going back to the classic old Alliance and Horde kind of fight deal. So they're probably tying up Alliance versus Horde type of storylines.
Right.
We've been fighting for so long, and it's finally time to work together to defeat the same demons that we had to work together to defeat again.
I know this is kind of a completely unrelated tangent, but there is a Metal Gear Survive beta on PC this Friday.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. We could give that a shot.
Yeah, I know
like
that
the
you guys
concept of Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah, I know that you guys weren't super interested in the game. Like, I don't know, from a conceptual standpoint. But I don't know. I'm like, the more I keep seeing it, the more it just seems fun to run around and do stupid shit in that engine. Because I really liked the Metal Gear Solid 5 engine, but
yeah. See, my conceptual issue with it is twofold. The first and big one is that this is, like, basically inarguable. They literally only slapped Metal Gear onto it so that they could sell more copies. Yeah. It has nothing to fucking do with
I think it's
Metal
actually
Gear.
the other way around, kind of. I think it's like, shit, we need to make another Metal Gear game, but there's no one here to, like, actually make a Metal Gear game, so we're just gonna make whatever we can in the Fox engine. Like, I think it was definitely that, not so much.
So it's not like they came up with a game concept and slapped Metal Gear onto it.
They
took Metal Gear and slapped the game concept onto it.
That's fair, but it's still essentially the same issue.
If you look at, like, the game concept, the whole crafting survival thing does seem like the laziest thing.
No, yeah, it's like it was Konami literally looking around, going, "Oh shit!" Like, people like those weird early access survival games, and oh shit, Fortnite is doing, like, weird crafting things. Maybe we should just, like, totally rip those ideas off. Now here's the thing. One thing that I think would be kind of fun for them to rip off, and is totally, like, would make sense for them to do, is the whole battle royale thing.
Yeah,
because a battle royale game in that engine would be fun.
it would.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of I'm
Now-
like weirdly interested in this game that I almost feel like I shouldn't be interested in. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Now, I do want to bring up my second point of why I am conceptually uninterested in this game. The year is fucking 2018. What are you doing making a survival zombie crafting game? Why?
I
It
mean,
could be
everyone's
literally
still doing
anything
it.
else.
Everyone's still doing it.
Yeah.
So it's not like
People
not
don't
like
realize it's so fucking outmoded because people in their heads still think, "Oh yeah, this is still good." People still like
Yeah,
it.
zombies were popular in 2004 when Left 4 Dead came out. Why not?
Yeah.
well, people are
Yeah.
definitely getting some zombie fatigue, but at the same time, people
Zombie
are like
fatigue is almost
rioting.
fucking gone over to the other point where zombies are getting okay.
Yeah,
again.
it's
Zombie
like
Yeah.
fatigue
looped
is
its
so
way back
fucking
around
nice.
again because still
Yeah.
every year people like are desperately awaiting the new Call of Duty Zombies mode. Like
Yeah.
people are still
That's
awaiting or that people are still jumping on the bandwagon of like this month's new early access crafting survival game. Like this is not none of this
I
has
think
gone
that
away.
people-
That's the sad part.
I think that people are awaiting Call of Duty's new zombie mode not because they
Because
like
of the
the
zombies, but because
I
of
think
the
it's just
actual
because they like the
gameplay
like
thing.
co-op horde mode thing.
Yeah.
So
I don't
it's the
know.
same
I mean,
reason-
Because I
But
mean,
it's
well,
like-
and that's another thing. It's like zombies aren't like the cool nerdy thing anymore. Right now, we got like all these fucking superhero movies and
Well,
goddamn Star Wars bullshit. Going
Zombies are like the quintessential like game fodder. Like
Yeah.
they're easy to put in games like horde mode and stuff because they are super simple. And
Yeah.
actually in a lot of
Yeah,
ways, if you think about Metal Gear Survive, it's kind of like a tower defense horde game. You build a base that you kind of are getting attacked from different directions. So
right.
like in a lot of ways it's still
less
kind
so
of
than Fortnite because Fortnite when it when
Right.
it released was intentionally a tower defense game where you had to build a maze.
like
Whereas Metal Gear Survive, you just don't want them in your area.
Like,
at
say
all.
what you want about Metal Gear Survive, but it seems like an actual hybrid of a, like, tower defense base building game and a, like, survival crafter game. Like, it kind of
Which is
seems
like-
like it's a natural progression.
Which is like 1 and 2 respectively of your least favorite genres, so I'm really surprised that you're interested in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
You-
what it is, honestly.
Like you,
It's not okay.
You're willing to play survival games with us, but tower defense you just
So-
turn
Or
off
completely off.
immediately.
So tower
Yeah.
defense, it's not so much okay. I guess tower defense is maybe not the right word for it because it's not actually tower defense. Fortnite, like the actual Fortnite, is
Yeah.
actually tower defense. This is more like defending a base
Mhm.
from. It's more like 7 Days to Die than it is like Fortnite, right? So and you know. My issue with
Yeah.
7 Days to Die was the survival element. So there's a very good chance that I'll pick up this game and bounce right off of it anyway. But
yeah.
you know, I don't know, maybe this is the game that does it for me. Who knows? But it
Yeah.
seems like the game is like tracking lots of different things like radiation and health and water and like hydration and food and like so it seems a little bit more involved than a lot of them, maybe, which could
Right.
be either fine or really terrible. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to see, right?
Right.
And actually, something that I'm really surprised about is the first time I found out the price for it, it's only $40.
Really?
I was like legitimately surprised that they're going for that price point because I
Yeah.
fully expected it to be a $60 game.
$60 full. Yeah.
And
Maybe
it's
it's because like maybe it's because of the fact that like it's been getting a ton of flack from people
Maybe.
like us who are just like, who the fuck is this? This isn't a
Who's
Kojima
gonna make-
game.
yeah.
Fuck you. Suck my dick.
and it's distinctly it has a distinct single player and 2 different multiplayer modes. So it's not like it's light on features either. So it's
Yeah.
kind of weird. And in defense of like Konami's development team working on this, like it does have like Metal Gear Solid veterans on it. Like, it does have the producer who's been there since, like, Metal Gear Solid 3. So, like, there are veterans on it. It's just, without Kojima's vision, it just seems like a cash grab.
It's not...
But, I mean, at the same time...
feel like it's going to be a real Metal Gear game without Kojima
no, it won't. It's straight up, it won't. But,
in any way,
But, I mean, it's a spin-off. And there have been other spin-offs, so I don't know.
But even Metal Gear Rising, Kojima wrote it.
Well, I don't mean in Metal Gear's case.
Like
I mean in general.
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't have to be that close. It's because
like Call of Duty Zombies, that was a spin-off.
Well, actually, that's never been spun off. That's always been
all right. No, that was actually that's just in all of the Call of Duties.
So this game does take place like right at the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 5, where a bunch of your people get sucked into a portal or blown up or something. So it is literally those people that happens at the beginning of that game.
I would say that sounds stupid, but that sounds entirely believable.
That sounds Metal Gear Solid. I don't know. So it does have like an actual story connection, but past that, it's just like random. The game does look kind of goofy in the same way that Fortnite does, and it's like a bunch of zombies are coming. Let's plop down a fence out of like thin air just right in front of you. So I don't know. I'm like weirdly intrigued by it. For reasons I don't completely understand, because it's like a combination of all of my least favorite genres, made by a company who like
is creatively bankrupt without their boy, and
like betrayed their like one of my favorite game developers. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's just a weird combination of all of the stuff I don't like, but I'm weirdly interested in it. So I'm actually excited for a free beta, because maybe I'll play it this Friday and it'll be garbage. Who knows? Like
Well, I mean, it's always good to play a garbage thing every once in a while. Like last year, I didn't watch nearly as many garbage movies as I should
have. There were just too many good movies last year.
Yeah, and there were a lot of good games last
too.
year
Like, there's no time for garbage games. Although we did play 2 garbage games last year, but
fair enough, we did
at least 2, maybe 3.
What were they?
Hatman, the Shadow Ward.
Oh yeah,
and Postmortem. Although those actually weren't. I think those are older, but
yeah.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about Metal Gear Survive. Like, I'm weirdly interested in it. And it's coming out soon-ish, I believe.
Soon.
So, maybe I'll pull up the like. Have you guys ever had like weird games like that? Like games that you were interested in for you don't fully understand?
Not really. I've had games that I should full well be interested in, but don't give a crap about. I've had like the very opposite of that, but I don't think I've ever had that.
Okay, so that beta is on the 16th, and the release date is on the 21st. So
of this month?
This month, yeah.
Oh wow, okay, that's a lot sooner than I thought.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be something to tie me over till Monster Hunter Worlds, because once that game comes out, there's no going back for PC.
Yeah. Right. Well, I've been
going back.
Yeah. There's nothing we can do about that. Have to wait. Just have to wait for Monster Hunter. You know, and I've never really I don't know if I actually like Monster Hunter. That's the weird thing about it. Like, I've never actually played a Monster Hunter for any real length of time.
Supposed to be more beginner friendly.
Supposedly. So this will be my first foray into it, and you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I bought Destiny full price, so like.
I hope that actually being able to play it with me, who can maybe explain some of the things to you that might not be apparent, will be helpful too.
Yeah, but I tend to be more tolerant for complex systems than than most people, I would say.
Yeah.
To some extent. I heard also the HUD is garbage in places, which is something that actually annoys me more.
In Worlds, or just Monster Hunter in general?
Well, in Worlds, not more so than like, I think even in Worlds it's streamlined better than most Monster Hunter games, but even in Worlds there are like weird HUD issues. Yeah. Not HUD, but user interface design.
Right. The only weird thing I can really think of is trying to navigate. Like, you have one item, and you have to navigate through your whole menu with the left and right keys to do it.
And not just that, but there's like weird multiplayer things where you have to jump in specific lobbies so you can jump into things, and you have to like watch a cutscene before you can even play in multiplayer, and like
that's probably a Worlds thing.
Yeah, no, like one of the things that I've heard about Worlds is in order to do a co-op mission, you have to have seen the cutscene for that monster.
Oh,
so you have to at least do your first. You have to at least see it first before you can even play multiplayer.
Weird.
Even using the SOS flare system, like you need to have killed the monster before you can respond to SOS flares, and you need to have seen the monster before you can do that mission in multiplayer. I heard that the Monster Hunter team has acknowledged some of those issues, so they might be trying to fix some of those. So by the time it comes out on PC, those might not even be issues anymore, potentially. I wouldn't hold my breath, but, you know, I heard that they are looking at that, so that's cool.
Right.
All right. Do we want to take a break, or do we want to just roll right into news?
We've been going for about an hour. Let's take. I kind of need a small break. So
let's take 5 so that I can grab a drink out of that.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I'll do the same thing.
All right. So what time is it?
5.
5:10.
Yeah.
Sure, 5:10 works.
All right. In that case, we will be back in a little bit.
All right.
And we're back.
We're fucking late. Sorry. We got here. It took us a little bit. We had to scramble to grab our shit.
No, we were all sitting here talking about my cats. We weren't doing anything important at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like, oh, fuck, we've been talking about cats for like, what, 2 hours? Shit, that happens, man.
Sometimes you gotta fill time with cats.
It's true.
So anyway, we don't have any news. Let's talk about your cats.
All right, for the second half of the show, we're going to go through and talk about some gaming news and then move into movie news after that.
Yeah.
There's not a lot going on, though. So hopefully we can stretch some of this.
Well, there's not a lot going on, but there are a couple of really fun things we can talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how about the first thing we talk about is some Metroid Prime 4 rumors.
Yeah. Oh.
Yay! Well, I mean, fuck, I'll take rumors at this point. I've been dealing on rumors since this fucking shit started. God damn it. I had nothing but rumors until they actually until they put a giant fucking 4 on the screen of E3, and it was the best goddamn shit I ever saw. I don't know, it wasn't the Devolver Digital Conference, you know, looking back, that was some good shit. Good job.
But it does seem like there's there are a few, like, sources that are separate that are confirming some of this stuff, so, makes sense. It looks like the developer for Metroid Prime 4 is Bandai Namco.
Interesting.
Who also did Smash and Pokken Tournament.
Yeah.
But, so they took it away from, Team Retro, I think.
Yes.
Is who made.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if Team Retro still exists.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they didn't take it away from them. They just couldn't.
Yeah, they might have. Well, either that, or they might have just been like, "No, you're an A team. We're gonna have you on A team properties, not this shitty Metroid thing."
Yeah, it sounds like Nintendo.
Because if you don't know, Metroid is like one of their least actually financially successful properties.
Everybody hated Metroid Other M. People must just not like Metroid anymore.
Well, no, even if you look at like Metroid Prime and stuff, they did not sell as well as most of their other game properties.
So weird. They were some of the best games that they've ever put out.
Yeah, by all accounts. Where this originally came up, like the like original kind of rumor thing, was that a developer who works at Bandai Namco, and also a Ridge Racer game, or was like, he put on his LinkedIn that he was working on a Ridge Racer game and a description of a game that basically said Metroid without saying Metroid. I don't have the
Okay.
exact
An
quote.
intergalactic female bounty hunter in a robot suit who was
No,
raised
it's
by
like
birds.
a first-person
birds.
action game for a Nintendo, first-party Nintendo property, something like that.
I mean, yeah, you say that. It's like, what the fuck else is it gonna be?
Yeah.
Like, Super Mario
Super
got a
Mario
gun.
first person
Yeah.
shooter.
Super Mario got his gat. He gonna fucking take it out on Bowser. This is the edgy fucking 2000s meme that you've been waiting for. He does drugs, mushrooms, smokes cigarettes. Peach is a whore. You know the tropes.
Super Mario Raving Rabbids Revengeance. Thanks, Wingy. In our chat there.
Fucking Luigi's pissed off that Mario gets all the goods and kills him with a gun.
You saw it in 2001 on Newgrounds. Now see it on the big
50
screen.
billion times. I'll see it on the big screen. Directed by Illumination Entertainment. Anyway, continue. Go on, Saine. No, sorry, I had to interrupt you with that.
Yeah, I was actually taking that opportunity to look through some of these rumors, and I'm not really seeing anything else of note.
Okay.
Oh yeah, here's the quote
any...
though. Unannounced IP, first-person shooter / adventure exclusive to the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, okay. That, I mean,
well, it
yeah.
says unannounced IP. It could be a new IP. I mean,
yeah,
Nintendo presents gun fuckers.
Yeah, it could be. That is true, but
Yeah,
it sounds. But there are people. There are multiple like different unnamed sources that are confirming it's Metroid.
And you know, I'm
so
joking,
take that
but...
with a grain of salt.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm joking, but the truth
last
is,
new IP you can think of for that Nintendo came out with?
ARMS.
Well, it's not new IP; it's unannounced IP.
Yeah, unannounced.
So that could mean new IP, or that could
one.
mean old IP. It doesn't. It just says IP.
Yeah.
But if you bring up IP, it kind of almost implies an old IP unless you say new IP.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's true. Yeah.
And it's like, again, I'm joking.
And the only other one it could really be would be like Splatoon, right? But
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Splatoon is a third-person shooter. That's a Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Splatoon, Modern Warfare.
Give the Squid Kids sniper rifles.
They already have those.
Rocket launcher.
They already have those.
Submachine guns that fire fucking
They already
bullets.
have those.
The new
okay.
I guess not bullets.
I suppose not bullets.
The twin
yeah.
dualies,
do not
right?
have bullet. Yeah.
That was big news at E3 one year.
I gave my Squid Kid a gat.
I think they have one of those.
They already have.
Oh, my cat's wanting.
They already have those. They're like super soaker gats, but you know that's.
Yeah. I gave
one
this
in each
Squid
hand.
Kid
Yeah,
an
they have those
F1
too.
brand.
If you can name a gun, they probably have it in Splatoon, but it's a super soaker. Like no joke.
They also
Yeah,
have
fair
a big
enough.
paint roller.
They also have a big paint roller. Yeah.
A mop.
They have umbrellas, mops. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can name an object, they probably have those. And Gnarl likes objects.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gave fucking laser the BFG, the big fucking splat gun.
I am not unconvinced that they don't have that.
Okay, fair enough.
So Google. I'm just gonna say now discussing Google.
Now
I don't even
Google.
know how to put this into context. But Google is
some financial man with like a suit and tie bust into the stream. Oh, they're talking about Google. Yes. Let's see what they have to say.
Google is making a video game console dubbed the Yeti that will stream games from a server. This has been tried a couple times. Right now, the like current one that is like a service that exists right now is PlayStation Now. That's the closest to this that exists right now. Yeah, it sounds like Google's interested in dipping their toes into the gaming scene, and they're developing a brand new console with a unique controller. I don't know. This seems like a terrible idea. Is it just me?
Yeah.
No, I mean, It didn't work when GameFly tried it. It didn't work when
It wasn't.
OnLive tried
It wasn't GameFly. No, it wasn't GameFly. It was OnLive. Yeah, it was on
GameFly
OnLive.
also had a streaming service, and nobody used that part.
Did
They
they?
just ordered the games. Yes, they for PC gaming, people would rather just buy the games on Steam. It didn't work when GameFly tried it. I mean, I think GameFly's still around. I'm not positive.
GameFly is still around.
Yeah,
And actually,
but
they do.
they do still have their streaming service.
Yeah, they also have the streaming service. Apparently, too.
Yeah, it's not super successful, but the rest of the company's keeping it afloat.
Yeah.
It didn't
actually,
work very well with OnLive.
OnLive, I
like-
think, got bought by someone else, and then they converted into a thing that actually sells like downloads.
Yeah.
I think OnLive just got purchased and then became less of OnLive.
OnLive, okay, to put this in context on how bad the streaming service for OnLive was OnLive was one of the selling points for the Ouya. The Ouya had native OnLive support. That was one of their big selling points.
Oh, that's funny. If you go to OnLive's website, it says from source code to trademarks, we have a number of assets for sale.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. See my point then?
Apparently what happened was Sony acquired most of the important parts for OnLive, which would make sense if they were
trying to make their own stream.
Yeah, trying to use PlayStation.
I haven't tried PlayStation Now, but I mean,
well, the problem is like there's only there's like very specific games you can do with streaming services because
yeah.
Anything that really relies on less than 5 milliseconds of delay is a problem.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really do shooters very easily. You can't really do,
platformers.
Well, platformers you might get away with just because if everything's behind, then nothing's behind. Well, I guess...
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess jumping inputs and stuff, like, yeah, I guess that would be an issue. Although it probably depends on the platformer.
Yeah.
That one you probably have some wiggle room with.
Honestly, I spent a decent amount of time using OnLive. Like, me and my friends way back when would play Red Faction against each other in 30-minute spurts with OnLive's little free trial thing, and it didn't work that bad, but
or the
was
first level of Splinter Cell.
Yeah. Or playing Amnesia in 30-minute spurts.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it would work for some games, like you could get away with doing like RPGs on the service.
Yeah,
because that wouldn't really matter. Maybe like Civilization and other turn-based like strategy games you could get away with.
Anything that doesn't require precise timing, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tower
I don't
defense
know.
games.
Well, depending on the tower defense games, because some vary.
Some require you to buy and sell in the middle of matches too, which can get hard.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, this seems like a dumb idea. Like, and Google half-asses stuff like this all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of faith that Google
is going to it's going to bust in this shit and just revolutionize the whole fucking industry.
It's like, in a weird way, I think people almost want Google to come in and be like a legitimate rival to PlayStation and Xbox, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, me neither.
And it's like, the only reason the Nintendo Switch is so successful is because it has a very, like, specific
niche. It has something
niche
that no other console can offer you.
Yeah, it has a specific niche in a way that both PlayStation and Xbox just don't have.
And that's always been Nintendo's draw, but the Nintendo Switch has like a niche that people would want if they're even if they're uninterested in.
And then the Xbox is being killed this generation. They're still profitable, but they're being killed this generation by PlayStation because they're both trying to do the same thing again.
Yeah.
So
and Sony's just kind of better at tech than Xbox.
Well, that's debatable because another story this week is PSN went down for like 3 days or something.
Well, hardware anyway.
And actually, no. In this case, the Xbox One is actually more powerful than PS4, but.
Is the Xbox One or the Xbox One S more powerful?
The Xbox One X is more powerful than PlayStation Pro, and the Xbox One is more powerful than the original PlayStation 4.
Oh, interesting. I did not actually know
it's
that.
like in the like margin is minimal. And the funny thing is, like, because PlayStation has a lot of second and first party developers, they let them get really down close into the hardware in a way that Xbox doesn't. So like a lot of games just end up being more impressive on the PlayStation just because if they're first party titles, then they like have a lot of control in ways that other developers don't. And all of the other third party stuff is on both, so it's just going to go to the lowest common denominator and to the more popular system this generation, the PlayStation. So like, yeah, I don't know. Like the Xbox kind of did it again with the Xbox One.
Weird.
But it was late to market compared to the PS4, and it was more expensive pretty consistently because it took them a long time to get rid of the Kinect. So,
right.
And not only that, but a lot of the games that you'd be buying the Xbox for, you can get on PC.
Yeah, and to a greater extent,
inarguably can be more powerful. Like, there's no contest.
And to a greater extent, because now they're making their exclusives and stuff cross-platform on PC, which
with Windows 10,
which granted I like, but it's not. It doesn't help
again.
Xbox.
I'm not. Yeah, like
it's not conducive. It's not conducive to Xbox.
Yeah. It's going to fuck the Xbox over, but we're super happy about this. We are over the moon that a bunch of games are coming to PC. That's what we play
like
on.
Sea of Thieves next month.
Yeah.
I'll be excited for that game. Yeah, so I don't know. Google
that might tide me over until Monster Hunter Worlds.
It's hard to tell with Google because sometimes it's like they do a stupid thing that turns out to be Android, right?
Yeah. They do a stupid thing that turns out to be incredible, or they do something like Google Glass. You guys remember Google Glass?
Yeah. Actually, there's a lot of talk about Google Glass right now because of...
Oh, really?
Because,
Google Glass, search gay porn, open 1,000 tabs.
Intel created a pair of glasses that just look like normal glasses, but they beam a heads-up display into your retina.
So you're basically just
using a laser.
Goddamn rain meter your entire life.
Now see, that sounds like bad for your eyes.
I mean, it sounds bad for your eyes, but they're using an extremely low-power laser, so it's actually not that bad.
Okay.
But
all right.
Apparently,
yeah.
I
so
feel
says
like it
Intel.
would be more efficient to just beam it onto the glasses.
It's not though.
Why?
Because that's actually a lot harder than it sounds.
Yeah.
It's harder to put a display on glass than
Let
it is
me explain.
to beam it into your fucking eyes.
It is.
Yes. Okay, all right.
Because
all right,
it has to be that small.
Here's the thing.
And
yeah, and also, for people who do use glasses, like all the time, all day, beaming it on glass with the fucking that bullshit that they have to warp the glass on, it makes it a bit of a problem.
Also,
I can see that. People who had to wear corrective lenses, like Thel, who is effectively blind without them,
right?
Yeah,
and also
wouldn't be able to see the heads-up display because it's not being corrected by the lenses.
And also, it's really difficult to make a transparent display. That's the bigger issue. That's not only an issue with like this kind of product, but it's also an issue with just augmented reality stuff in general. It's just really hard to make a transparent display right now.
Right.
They don't know how to do it. They're still trying to solve that. So
I like this is the kind of tech shit that I live for. Like I honestly can't wait until they can just put something right here in my temple that'll beam that heads-up display into my eyes. I would do it in a heartbeat, considering if it's not prohibitively expensive, which obviously for the first 20 years it will be.
Yeah.
But,
man, not necessarily.
I
20 years is a long time.
Yeah. Maybe
probably like 5 years.
Well, again,
we still have medicine that costs nothing to make that's prohibitively expensive.
Well,
yeah, but that's
a completely different thing.
That's different.
Yeah,
you can't combine tech to medicine.
Yeah, smartphones have been around for like almost exactly 10 years. And everyone can get a smartphone now.
That's true.
In fact, it's been that way for the last like 7 years.
You have kindergartners running around with smartphones because they're
Someone says or Winnie says in chat, there are a couple actual transparent displays still being developed, as far as I know. There is, but it's still like in order to make it that small, it's still a problem.
Yeah.
Like if you look at stuff like the HoloLens or the other ones, what they usually do is they reflect a display like off of a like reflective thing onto the glass, because that's easier than making the glass transparent, from what I've tell, I guess.
Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, it's just they're having trouble with it. Here is an image of what they look like. I'm going to I'll drop it in the chat, and also just
while you're doing that, basically what I was saying, like, some people are pretty scared of like a surgery like that, and I'm terrified. I get skittish around needles, and if that's something that could happen, like I said, I would do it in a heartbeat. You fucking stick a drill in my head. My God, that's the coolest shit in the world.
My problem with that is like, well,
like you were saying, these glasses beam something into your retina. Like, that's just one step away from something that's in your head that beams it into your retina. That is
not even remotely
it's
one step away. That is
no,
not.
It is pretty,
that is completely different.
Pretty far, like thing between those two. One is literally a light that shines something into your eye like a flashlight, but smaller and more precise. And the other one is something that actively fucks with your brain.
Yeah, that's
okay.
That's
I
not
mean,
the
like,
same.
what about something under your eyelid? Like
that would be something
it's
that,
still
displays something.
Okay, the difference is like one you can take off and one is in your body. Those are two different things.
And that's another thing. But even just like fucking with the brain is such a huge, like, we're pretty far away from that.
Yeah.
That probably isn't coming in any time soon.
Well, that's not
like,
what I'm talking about.
But if you look at this the second image,
something that uses your eyes.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a small projector in the frame of the glasses that shoots the laser into your eye. That's not invasive. All of the stuff you were saying is all invasive.
And that is what I was saying. I wouldn't care how invasive it is if that kind of technology existed, personally.
I don't think people are willing to go that invasive with anything, hardly. Not without actually having already lost a limb or something and wanting to replace it with a limb. I don't think people would choose to place their limbs or something in like in something similar to Deus Ex. I just don't think that would happen.
Right.
Because that's too invasive. I think people would be more willing to bolt stuff onto their limbs or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
A couple extra arms. Double the gaming precision.
2 controllers. Play 2-player on Cuphead.
Now, see, now that I'm looking at these images of those glasses, it looks like you would have to, like, if they got knocked around a bit, could screw them up pretty.
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Pretty bad.
But they were saying, well, I don't know. From all I heard about it, it sounded like they worked pretty well. But they don't have a camera and they don't have a microphone.
Oh, good.
Because their intention was to have no social cost, which is one of the big reasons people were saying that Google Glasses failed, because people were constantly wondering that you were recording them.
Yeah, a lot of people were pretty put off about Google Glass for that very specific
It's also, like, illegal to record people in certain states, so...
That one could get tricky because Google Glasses were obvious enough that you could say that just by being there, like, it is an acknowledgement. Because you're not, a lot of places you're allowed to record people as long as you don't lie about it or hide it.
Okay,
Except children, maybe.
Right.
That's the one place where it would be a problem, maybe. But if you are using them in a public place, like on the street, then you have no expectation of privacy, so even like children doesn't really matter. as long as you
Right.
aren't taking pictures of that child and putting them online or something.
Right.
Because then
right.
that's a
makes sense.
separate issue. Reproducing the images versus recording it is like kind of different.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. Either way,
But yeah, I mean that makes sense. Either way, these glasses look really cool, but I wish that they didn't make you look like such a gigantic fucking nerd. No offense, though.
well, these
Excuse me,
glasses
are
these
the
glasses will make you look
best.
significantly less nerdy compared to Google Glasses.
That
Yeah, that's
these glasses kind of make you look like somebody who needs glasses as opposed to somebody
these
who wants
glasses
to,
look like fucking glasses.
Yeah.
as opposed to somebody who wants to live in the future.
But you know what? You
Yeah.
could just as easily put these on sunglasses and it wouldn't be any
Yeah.
different. So
That would be more reasonable.
And also, excuse me, glasses are the very best accessory.
Your glasses are crooked, though.
Your glasses are crooked.
also
I'm not.
Also, the kind
Exactly,
of
that's why they're crooked.
also the kind of funny thing is it's like red, like a red like image or whatever.
Interesting.
So it kind of looks. It reminded the tech reporter I was reading about. Reminded him of like the Virtual Boy a little bit, but less.
Oh
painful.
God.
Virtual Boy, but less painful.
Okay, well, good job. You've turned me off to it completely.
All
I wanna
right.
play Subnautica in Virtual Boy reality.
So that was a cool tangent based on Google, I guess.
Thanks, Google.
Okay, Here's the next thing on our ongoing loot box controversy.
Yay!
Oh boy. How long has this been? 6 months? We talked about this on our first podcast.
When was it? Well, it was when Battlefront came out, right?
Yeah, that was like months and months ago.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't
Jeez.
our first. It wasn't our
Oh,
first
yeah,
because
yeah,
we
that
were
was-
definitely already doing things.
Right. But pretty close.
Let's see. Battlefront 2 came out on November 17th. So yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Hawaii introduces a bill or bills to ban the sale of games with loot boxes to people under 21
Now,
in Hawaii.
I have my
Well.
first question about this. Are they trying to pass a bill, or did they pass a bill?
They introduced a bill, which means they have to talk about the bill and make edits to the bill and then vote on the bill. So it is
Okay.
very, like, the very beginning of the process. It's
Okay.
like, hey, look, we have a bill. That's where we're at right now.
See, I didn't watch enough School of Rock to be able to understand
I'm just a bill.
what this process is.
Capitol Hill. Yeah, I don't know. It's whether or not this goes anywhere, it's kind of like a big deal because it'll force some of these companies to like really reconsider their use in loot boxes because this kind of thing makes it risky. Just having this exist at all. So
Actually, I want to say this out loud. Rob here in our chat is asking how would they even monitor that? Every kid just says they're 21. So the way that it works for alcohol and nicotine sales online is you essentially have to fax or send a photograph of both sides of your state ID, at least for the US, to the website in order for them to verify it. And then it takes a few days for the verification process. Now, obviously, you could just use somebody else's ID or something.
it could also potentially be tied
But-
to a credit card. But yeah, it is one of those things that's like,
Yeah.
it's
It's
law,
hard.
but it makes it harder, and it just making
Yeah.
it harder disincentivizes them from doing it at all. And then
exactly.
Yeah.
not only that, it would turn like Battlefront, which is a teen game, into an immature game,
Or adults
Oh,
only.
yeah,
or an
adults
adults
only.
only, which would
Yeah,
be
and
an even bigger
Overwatch,
problem.
which is
Yeah.
the same thing.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, like there's
Like it's laws.
it
but
causes
it
more
would be-
problems than just having to check
Yeah.
for the companies anyway,
It would essentially the companies would probably just not want to do it in the first place.
right?
Is the idea, I guess.
Yeah, it's bills as a disincentive mechanism rather than actually doing anything is really what's going on here.
Yeah.
What is this?
Thanks, EA. You ruined the party for everyone.
Like
You
okay,
did
okay.
it. You
I
fucking
know this
really
in
did it.
particular. Now, this bill is only being introduced in Hawaii, but retailers that sell cigarettes or tobacco products online, check your ID to see if you are 21. Because in California and possibly some other states, you're required to be 21 to smoke, even though some states still only have it as 18. So even introducing this bill into one state would make the requirement for most online sales to probably check for somebody to be 21, which basically, as we just said, would cause more issues for the companies than it's worth.
Right.
So like you could walk into a store in somewhere where it like a physical store somewhere and buy a game that has loot boxes, not in Hawaii, and you'd be fine. But if you were trying to purchase it online, which is a big portion of game sales nowadays, it would be a lot more of an issue.
Well, plus it might also force the ESRB to reclassify it.
Yeah, that too.
They're just gonna have a new rating that's just loot boxes.
Teen but loot boxes.
ESRB ratings: E, T, R,
M, A, O.
A, O. Yeah, not R, M.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like,
LB.
and it's one of those things, like, it's not gonna do anything. Like, if even another, like, if 2 other states or something put something similar in a different part of the country, then basically it'll just ban loot boxes indirectly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe if just Hawaii does it, it might ban loot boxes indirectly. It is hard to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you could always lie and use a VPN and all sorts of weird tricks. Like, there are ways to get around stuff like this, but...
Or just use your mom's ID, which...
Or, yeah. Or it could be tied to a credit card. Sometimes they do that. They care less about... I don't know. It's hard.
Every fucking... Like, if you were to look forward in time to this point in time from the past, I never thought that EA would fuck up so bad that legislation would be put in, but you did it, EA.
I don't know. Someone was gonna have to push the
that.
envelope, and if anyone was gonna push the envelope, it was gonna be EA.
Well, no. I mean, just like, here's the thing: EA has been fucking trash for goddamn years, and everyone knows that they do nothing but fuck up. But like a couple of years ago, back when Mass Effect 3 came out, and they were still shitting the bed all goddamn over. At no point did I think, at some point in time, EA is going to fuck up that Hawaii is going to make a goddamn law to spite them.
Yeah, like, it's not like anybody thought, oh my god, Hawaii is going to outlaw bad video games from coming out. But
Hi, I'm a gaming comic from 2007. I think bad video games should be outlawed. We just going back in time. This is the Back in Time podcast. That's what this is.
Yeah, but that was over moral content versus something a little bit more measurable. So I don't know.
Oh yeah. I never thought that EA would be so immoral that this would happen, but they did
you
it.
You didn't?
I mean, I know. I thought
would say
that they
immoral,
had
but
fucking
unethical
rules.
Anyway, let's move on. What is the
so
Sega
impressed.
thing, Phil or Dalsson?
That's me. Fuck. So Sega is right now. I found this out during the podcast. So it's called. They do something every year called Make Love Not War. Basically, where they do.
Make war not love.
Yeah, make war not love.
Yeah.
And basically what they do is they kind of almost give away a lot of their strategy games. Like, basically you can go to makewarnotlove.com right now, connect your Steam account, and you get 2 free games. I think it's like one of the Dawn of War games and Endless Space or something. I'm not sure what exactly you get because I already did it and I forgot. But
a bunch of them have really deep discounts.
And yeah, they're also doing a huge discount sale on Steam for a lot of their stuff. And it looks like, I'm not 100% sure on the details because this one hasn't started yet, but from reading this page, it looks like they're going to do a competition of who can play their newer games the longest, and for however long you play, you get entries to win some of their other games.
Sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like on this website right now, they have an online now counter, a total hours counter for like all players, and then the longest 24-hour session. So this doesn't sound like something that's good for people's health if they really want to compete in this. But also, I can definitely see people just leaving their games up. Oh yeah, hold your Wii for a Wii. It's like that radio contest. But
where that person died.
Yeah, where the person actually died. But basically, it looks like the games that they're trying to push here in this one is Company of Heroes 2, Endless Space 2, Total War Warhammer 2, and Dawn of War 3. 3 of which of these games are probably good. So,
did you hear that Dawn of War 3 is not putting out any DLC or any future updates or whatever because it sold like garbage? I did
read that. Yeah, I did read that.
It sold very poorly, so that sucks.
It makes sense that they're trying to push them with this contest. But basically, you sign up, you just sign in on your Steam account at this website. You get a couple of free games, and then you have a chance to win more games as the thing goes on. The whatever kind of contest they're doing begins on February 14th, which I believe will be the date of this podcast upload to YouTube. Yeah. So,
assuming I do it on the right day.
Assuming Saine does it on the right day, because he's really been dropping the ball.
It feels like every other week I mess it up.
As of right now, Total War Warhammer is 66% off, and Total War Warhammer 2 is 10% off.
Well, we don't have to break into the sales, but yeah, Warhammer 2 I heard is really.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I know anything about the Total War games, if you like giant fucking armies murdering each other incessantly, it's gonna be good. Hey, and Thel, Warhammer 2 is probably just gonna be a better iteration than the first one.
Hey Thel, you played Endless Space 2. You really liked it, right?
I loved Endless Space.
I also love Endless Space 2.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pick it up.
It takes so long to play. But
yeah, it's a 4X.
Yeah, it's a 4X.
Also, it takes a lot. It's the biggest problem that a lot of people have with Endless Space 2 is its UI is very different from a lot of stuff, and the tutorial doesn't teach you shit.
Yeah.
The tutorial doesn't give a fuck about you. If you don't know how to fucking build armies, well, I'm sorry, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're gonna get fucking invaded by some dude who has tanks and not know that you had to fucking allocate space for tanks.
It's definitely less complicated than Stellaris, though. Like,
oh yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So.
Okay.
And that was one of the reasons I picked it up pretty.
Probably the number one game I'd recommend on the sale is Endless Space 2 that they're doing. But I'm pretty sure you have a chance to also win that for free if you just want to give it a shot. You know, it's like.
And hey, if you've been
chance at free games, right?
If you've been sleeping on Warhammer or Total War 2, then you could get it for 10% off if nothing else.
Yeah.
Why don't we move into movie news now?
Sure.
Okie dokie. Let's see what we got on the docket today. Our first thing is, like I said, we're gonna have some fun stuff, and this first thing is some of the fun stuff. So. Rumors have been flying around.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, right. This isn't like this hasn't been confirmed. This is just rumors. Want to make that clear. Rumors have been flying around that Zack Snyder, the man behind the DC cinematic universe, has been fucking fired. That he got kicked out, and not only got kicked out, not like recently. I mean, the reason they brought Joss Whedon is because they fucking fired his ass because he got sacked. Like, he was shadow sacked by fucking Warner Brothers.
Didn't he say he left because...
like, his daughter was sick, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and again, the rumors are that he just got, like, sacked before then, and that was just, like, the reason that he said, because Warner Brothers was trying to cover everything up, and he still had part of the movie. It was probably in his contract, he couldn't say anything, like, bad about it. So, yeah, we don't know. These are just rumors, but there are a lot of
how substantiated are the rumors? Like, is this like
pretty not?
An anonymous source says that, or is it like there's lots of people all from different sources that haven't heard each other saying this shit?
Josh L. Dickey, who is leaving entertainment journalism for greener pastures, shared a very interesting nugget on his personal Twitter account. So it sounds like this journalist had heard things.
Yeah.
But
so it's not even like a site, it's like one journalist.
Well, at the same time, well, he was a former Variety and Mashable editor. So he's actually a reasonably he's actually reasonably, that's a reasonably high position for him. And if he's willing to go to this with his name, then maybe that lends it a little bit of credibility.
Maybe.
As opposed to just being an anonymous source, he's like, actually, that's...
Yeah, he is someone.
Yeah, I mean, it's more credible than some of the rumors we've heard, like that Pokemon one that I was bitching incessantly about.
Yeah, well, and not only that, but it's like, all of the, like the Variety and all of these guys, they're straight up in Hollywood, quote-unquote, mingling with all these fucking horrible assholes that are terrible people. And getting them fucking drunk and having like, Snyder? Yeah, fuck that guy. We fired him before fucking the Justice League movie was done.
And actually,
hate that piece of shit. Fuck you.
And actually, there was a lot of rumors about this when it happened as well, that he was fired.
Yeah.
In fact, I believe we heard the rumors that he was fired before he gave a reason why he was leaving.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But then he gave a reason why he was leaving, and those.
And then everyone was like, this is probably why he's leaving.
Yeah. But now that it's kind of coming back, it's
like, hey, well, maybe this guy was fucking fired.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah,
so that's interesting.
And again,
I don't like Zack Snyder.
A time frame has not been set, and this is a lot of this is like, Zack Snyder was fired. It could possibly mean he was kicked off of Justice League. Or it could just mean he was fired fucking yesterday. Who knows?
Well, no, it said over a year ago. That he was fired over a year ago.
Okay.
Which would line up in time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So yeah.
Venom?
That's fun. I don't think any of us really like Zack Snyder that much as a director.
Who?
Yeah.
He was okay when he did in 300. That's okay.
You know,
I liked it when it came out. I even liked the sequel to 300, which a lot of people didn't.
What was the sequel to 300?
I completely fucking forgot that movie existed, but yeah, it
400,
sure didn't it?
No,
300. It was like 300. It was like 301 or something.
It was like 300 Rise of something.
Rise of the Guardians of Gaul, the Owls, that Zack Snyder also directed.
You're gonna make me look this fucker up.
It was 301? Wingy confirms.
No, it was 300 Rise of an Empire.
Oh my god. 400 would have been better.
700, even more hundreds.
They captured like 100 Persians and made them Spartans.
The fucking cloned Spartans and then put them in robot suits. Because why not?
300,000.
3 billion.
The funny thing about Rise of an Empire, the sequel to the original 300, was it was based on a Frank Miller graphic novel that had not been released yet.
Holy shit.
Oh,
that's funny.
Because the original one was also adapted, but
right.
Anyway,
3 million. It's 300 in space.
I was just going for 30K.
We have to fight the Persian space empire, and though there are only 3 million of us, but there's 22 quintillion of them.
Greek hammer, 30K.
All right, so next topic.
Next topic. Venom released a teaser trailer. What did you guys think of it? I didn't watch it.
There was
You didn't watch it? I told you to watch it.
No, there was actually nothing in it.
Movies directed by Sony. Fuck that.
If there was like,
I like Venom. I want Venom to be good, but this teaser made me think it's not good because it looks like a bad teaser.
It just didn't show anything. It was like this guy could be this could be the next Mad Max movie. Who fucking knows? It could be literally fucking anything.
See,
All
I don't
we saw
mind.
Is the actor.
I don't mind when teasers don't really go into it a lot because I do. Like, I don't love to watch trailers like a lot of people do because I think a lot of times they do spoil things. So I'll usually only watch trailers in the theater. And that's just because I'm not gonna sit there and, like, look away from the screen while it's happening.
Sure, okay, but obviously Tom Hardy is Eddie Brock. Like, you could have gone with something like showing the fucking Venom symbol. Like, even something as insubstantial as that, but literally all there was some black goo for like less than a second on the screen.
Well, see,
and then
yeah,
the rest
I
of it
think
was,
that
like, him looking around.
I don't think that a teaser that doesn't show a lot is bad, but it has to give you a reason to be intrigued, and the trailer didn't. The teaser didn't. Like, I don't care if they didn't like, they could have not shown the symbiote. I'm fine with that. But they needed to, like, tell you why you should care about this person's story, and they didn't do that.
Right. I don't. Was there even any dialogue in it?
Yeah, there was.
Jesus.
I'm just imagining like the complete other side of what this trailer could have been. I'm Eddie Brock. Cut to black. Fade back in. And something happened. He touches the symbiote. What?
Hey, in defense, it's better than the Fantastic Four trailer, right?
Fair.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this because I really love Venom as a character. But I don't have a lot of faith in Sony. So
yeah.
But this has been
Sony's good when they fund Denis Villeneuve and also David Fincher, and that's it.
This has been a movie that's been in the pipeline for a while. So I don't know. It could go either way. There's also supposed to be a Black Cat and Silver Sable movie coming up in the same like cinematic Spider-Man universe.
Who is Silver Sable?
She's like a information broker.
Okay.
I wonder who's directing Venom. Ruben Fleischer? Oh, director of Zombieland.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Lead writer is Scott Rosenberg, who's been nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay.
I
don't know who
really
this
know
is.
any of these. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, he wrote Con Air.
Ooh.
He wrote the new Jumanji movie, which was actually really fucking funny.
Huh.
And he was uncredited for helping write Spider-Man, the original one.
Like the first Spider-Man.
The first
movie?
Spider-Man movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. So, He wrote for Tales of the Crypt.
Oh, that's probably how we got to start.
Yeah,
nice.
It was. Kelly Marcel is a co-writer. You known for anything? 50 Shades of Grey. Okay. You did the adapted screenplay for 50 Shades of Grey. That's a good sign. That's not a good sign.
That's a bad sign.
That's a bad sign. We also got a writer from, again, Jumanji, The Dark Tower, and Amazing Spider-Man 2. All of our favorite movies. I really hope he's not in charge a lot.
A lot of people have been going crazy about the new Black Panther movie, and I looked up who the writers were. The writers were Brian Coolidge and probably some guy who's one of his friends. And, I looked at that and I thought, you know what? Maybe this movie is going to have a lot of really interesting stuff because it's basically just this guy's one pure vision of what this character is going to be. And then I look at something like this and I just think, this is going to be a movie. I might watch this movie at some point.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I really hate Black Panther.
Like the character, yes.
I believe you've talked about this every time we've ever mentioned Black Panther on the podcast.
I think I've talked about this every time we brought up superheroes.
I think we talked about this last week.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. Again, Brian Coolidge is a very good director and a very good writer, and the movie is probably pretty good.
Right, but
this version of Black Panther is probably pretty toned down compared to...
God, I hope so.
Like Earth's Mightiest Heroes, for instance, because this is a version of Black Panther that is based loosely off of the Ultimate series, so it's supposed to be a little bit more grounded. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm not super fond of Black Panther as a character either, but I think that having a kind of the most important black African American, well, no, actually just black,
flat out African, yeah,
superhero, like, is kind of a cool thing, if nothing else.
He's not from a real country, but
and I think the cool thing about Black Panther is probably like the same effect as you got with Wonder Woman, where the director's almost, or like I mean, it's probably not exactly the same because Marvel is a different beast than DC, but like DC didn't care about Wonder Woman, so they let the director and the writers do what they wanted. And I feel like Black Panther could be a similar thing. Yeah. But at the same time, like, it is like Marvel, and Kevin Feige has been very consistent with making sure everything makes sense and is strong continuity.
And one of the things is like it was like when we were talking about Thor, the new Thor Ragnarok, where like there was like a bunch of Marvel writers on the team for Thor Ragnarok, but you look at the writers for Black Panther, it's just Brian Coolidge and some other guy who has never done a Marvel movie before.
Right. So it's an interesting like thing. Do we want to move on? Yeah, because we were talking about Venom. Venom is like, I don't know.
Yeah, and then we moved off into Black Panther.
I like hope Venom is good, but I don't have high hopes for it.
You don't expect it to be.
Yeah, I want it to be good, but I don't expect it to be good.
Right.
We'll see.
All right, here's one. Unfortunately, Johan Johansson died at 48. He was a composer who notably worked on some of Denis Villeneuve's films, specifically Sicario and Arrival. And honestly, he did Arrival specifically. Like, the score of that movie, I felt was just fucking integral to the tone, and it's really sad to have lost. He did good shit.
He won a Golden Globe in 2015 for his Stephen Hawking biopic.
Oh yeah, The Theory of Everything, the one with Eddie Redmayne.
Now, that's unfortunate. It's always sad to have to hear that somebody died, that they won't be making any more great shit, because I love the sound design in Arrival was complemented by the music, for sure.
Yeah.
And when a composer can like so greatly like mesh together with the sound designer, that just shoots things like miles up, right?
Yeah. And it's
I have one thing to point out here.
Yes.
And it's a little bit funny. Mm-hmm. This man's name is Johan Johansson.
Mm-hmm. That is the most composer name I've ever heard in my life, yes.
Yes, but the funny thing that I want to point out is that this naming convention means he is the son of a man named Johan, so he's just basically
Johan, son of Johan.
Johan II.
His entire name is just Johan Jr., including his surname. It's just, he's Johan Jr.
He is Johan Jr. Rest in peace, Johan Jr. But yeah, and it's really sad to like for this, because there are so many scores for so many movies. Specifically, like if you look at all the Marvel movies, they're just completely unmemorable, and it's like, here's this, here's a bunch of instruments, and they do a bunch of stuff. But then, like, I can just picture in my head that scene in Arrival where they just zoom in on just that close-up on the screen, the first time you see the screen that separates, the people from the heptapods, and just the sound kicks in. It was a beautiful thing. In the theater, it was wonderful, and every time I've seen it since, it's been wonderful, and, it's sad to lose this man. He was doing some good shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How did he pass away? Because he was only 48, so I assume it wasn't natural causes.
Yeah. Hold on a second. News on
It doesn't appear to say in the article.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
They
don't always say.
Yeah. And that's not really super important.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's sad to see him go.
Yeah.
The next one is the next thing on the docket is
Star
this is
Wars.
just a general thing. I put this in the thing so we can talk about this as a general whole. Now the Benioff and Weiss, the guys who are doing Game of Thrones, are getting their own Star Wars thing, so that they can make Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Weird.
So okay, so that means what we have right now on the docket is Solo, that Han Solo movie, which we talked about last week. Star Wars 9,
Yeah.
the last in that trilogy. A new trilogy by Rian Johnson, the one who wrote The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Some movies by the Game of Thrones creators, but it's unclear if it's actually a trilogy or not, but it might be another trilogy.
Yeah.
Then there's also talk around an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, a Yoda movie, and a Boba Fett movie. Those are all three like separate rumors floating around.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Iger announced that they're going to make a live-action Star Wars series for their TV, or not their streaming, their streaming site or whatever when they make that. So that is a lot of Star Wars.
Republic movie.
And this is weird. Oh, okay.
I don't think
for like the
they'll
Marvel
ever do an
stuff,
Old
right?
Republic movie.
For like the Marvel stuff, right? All of the Marvel stuff, it's like there's like so much comic book bullshit that can just be adapted, right? And for Star Wars, they're just fucking scrambling to do anything with it.
I don't know if it's quite scrambling, but it's definitely like they're taking a core set of movies and pulling everything they can out of it.
Yeah.
Whereas Marvel there's already
like
there was a lot of stuff, and it made sense to do a a cinematic universe. Yeah. Whereas, I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's bad to have like multiple movies in one universe, set in one universe. Like that's fine. Yeah. Like I'm not the concept of a Star Wars cinematic universe doesn't upset me or anything. But I just don't know how far they're going to be able to go with it.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they're trying to turn it into Marvel, but I don't think it's gonna be Marvel. So
yeah,
I don't know.
And again, we've had like more recently, like the last 3 Star Wars movies that have come out. You know, we had The Force Awakens, Rogue One, and Last Jedi. All of these had everything went okay through them. There wasn't that much shit. They had a director, and they had a thing that they were going to do, and they did recut some stuff in the what was it? Rogue One. Well, but that was just like post stuff that they just like removed like a TIE fighter that was CGI here or something like that, or cut out a couple of scenes here and there, and it's like that's just post stuff, but like. Then you get into things like this new Solo movie that's coming out in like 3 months that just got the goddamn trailer released for it when they usually do that like a year before the movie comes out. They had to replace the entire fucking director and reshoot the whole goddamn thing. Like, Star Wars is going a little fucking crazy. The Last Jedi, not The Last Jedi, the next movie that's going to be this next Star Wars movie is...
Star Wars
The Next Jedi.
Episode 9.
Has already gone through, like, 2 directors. They replaced a director and put J.J. Abrams back on it.
I don't think they replaced replaced it with Abrams. I'm pretty sure 9 was always meant to have Abrams on it.
No. Absolutely not. What was going to happen was it was going to have the guy who directed what was it? Jurassic World. That guy who I really, really hated. And then last year, not this year, he released a movie called The Book of Henry that was terrible and did awful, so Disney kicked him off.
Well, I don't think that's the worst move by Disney.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely. And I hate this guy and didn't want him to touch anything, like a camera. But like
he's the director.
Yeah, but I feel like that was early on though. Like that's not the same as pulling a director off mid-shoot.
Yeah, like they did with Solo.
Yeah, with Solo, who's gone
and then they replaced him with Ron Howard.
Yeah. But maybe he was just there to finish it up. Who knows?
Yeah, they just like, we need a director. Hi, I'm Ron Howard. Ah, fuck, it just...
it's like...
You're You're a director.
It's like,
I
oh,
guess.
Ron Howard, you have no vision of your own, but that's fine because you're just finishing the rest of this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're fucking. You here. We have a chair that says director that is empty.
Isn't that the guy who voices the Fallout intros?
No. You're thinking of Ron Perlman, who is great and has been.
Oh, okay, right. No, he's the famous porn star with the giant junk.
That's the one. Ron Howard.
Ron Howard.
I know, yeah. No, you know, that makes a good point. Ron Howard is a combination between Todd Howard and Ron Jeremy put into a goddamn thing, and that's where they got Ron Howard. They spliced their DNA.
Can we move on?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's like a lot. I guess the benefit with the new Rian Johnson trilogy and the Game of Thrones creators trilogy, or whatever it is, it's gonna be. At least those are not going to be recycled characters. It's not going to be connected to any of the Skywalker saga. Ever.
Yeah.
So
that's
what they call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So at least there's that, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but like, I feel like, especially with what Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi and how he sort of, it feels like he's trying to get away from that big, you know, super Star Wars fan wank sort of deal. Why is he doing Star Wars at all? I mean, that's why Star Wars exists.
No, actually, he was. I've heard a lot of things about how Rian Johnson went and treated The Last Jedi, and sure, like crazy rabid fans didn't care about it, but apparently he was gonna get this trilogy before that movie even finished.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I think someone at Disney really likes him. So
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he'll have a darker take on Star Wars and be able to get away with it,
or do something completely different with Star Wars, which is gonna be weird. And then again, it's like, why not just do a different movie? Because I mean, I feel like the whole Star Wars
maybe he wants to do
universe
Star
is
Wars.
Just... all right.
Because like, why would you do The Last Jedi and then agree to do another trilogy if you didn't really want to?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, sure, it's a lot of money, but it's like, that's also a lot of pressure, but he seems to want it, so...
Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah.
The Game of Thrones one is a little bit more strange to me, but...
Yeah.
Honestly.
Benioff and Weiss are... got the fucking Game of Thrones bucks. They get to put the Game of Thrones shit in the fucking... They get to have Star Wars because they made money.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah. And then there's also a streaming series. Do you wonder what that'll be? Live action Star Wars series?
I'm John Star Wars.
That could be fun.
And I'm here to...
And I don't know, Dalsson, maybe they will... I doubt it, but they could do something like Old Republic.
Old Republic.
So, who knows?
God, I hope so.
Everything going forward from 9 or whatever, or not 9, 7 is in canon. So
yeah.
So they decanonized a lot of stuff, but talked about stuff that was in other stuff. So indirectly canonizing stuff. So who knows at this point?
Selective canon.
Selective canonization.
We never talked about how Illumination, the studio who did Despicable Me and Minions, is creating a Mario movie.
We did make a joke about it earlier in the podcast, but...
if we did, we forgot about it, but anyway.
Yeah. The joke that we made was that, you know, Illumination, whatever, is going to make the edgy Mario movie. Illumination is actually making a movie about Mario.
Yeah, so that's weird.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah. Illumination's,
is going to be executive produced by Miyamoto, though, so he's going to have a lot of creative control over Mario.
Okay. Yeah. Remember the last time they made a Mario movie? Y'all remember that shit? I remember that. That was a movie. That was a...
Actually, it sounds like he just happened to... Miyamoto happened to be talking to Chris Meliandri, Illumination CEO, and who's noted for Minions and Sing, kind of.
Yeah.
Apparently they clicked on a personal level and they decided to make a collaboration because of that.
Okay.
Huh.
And then apparently Illumination CEO is very cost conscious and budget conscious, so like I don't know. Sounds like there's at least some plan there, I guess. I don't know. That could be cool.
We'll have to wait to see. It could be the first good, quote unquote, good, fucking
video game
movie ever made.
Video game adaptation movie, yeah.
Yeah, video game adaptation. If you die in the game, you die in real life. That was a video game movie, quote unquote.
Was it?
There were video games in it. It was about video games. It was a video game movie.
Oh, I guess that's fair. There's also Wreck-It Ralph, which is also like a video game movie.
Yeah, alright, yeah. Wreck-It Ralph was definitely a video game movie.
It's a movie about video games, but it's not an adaptation.
Well, yeah, like no, there are no specific. There are specific video game characters that show up, but you know.
I think Wreck-It Ralph is a real arcade game, though.
It is now.
No, I think it was before. But
no. No, I don't. I don't know. It was a literal joke on Donkey Kong.
I think it was Oh, the game was actually called Fix It Felix Jr.
Yeah, that was the game that they made up for Wreck-It Ralph. Yes.
I don't know. I feel like I remember
it's the
seeing
same
that.
with Sugar Rush.
Well, Sugar Rush, I know it was made. That's just Mario Kart, basically.
Oh, and just like Wreck-It Ralph is Donkey Kong.
Okay, I don't know. I feel like I remember seeing something, but I don't have time to look for it. So anyway, what else?
I think
that's it, right?
That might be it. Yeah, I think we're good. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about stuff coming up this next week.
Little Nightmares video. Probably going to come up sometime this week.
You think this week? It might be next week. We'll see.
This week, depending on what we do with it, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I think our plan is for it to replace Wednesday's video.
Yeah.
But we don't know if we have time to finish it this Wednesday or not, so we'll see.
Yeah, because we still don't exactly know what we're going to do with it, which is a problem. New Hollow Knight video up now.
Yep. So if you're interested in Hollow Knight, go check that out right now.
Many of you already have, despite it being out for what, 3 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the support.
How much more of that one thing have?
Oh, Night in the Woods?
Yeah, how much of that?
Again, we're getting really close. Unfortunately, I forgot to upload it this week just because I was working on the Hollow Knight video really hard. So sorry about that for all those people waiting for that one. Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, that's about it.
How many videos do we have left? 2?
This is either 2 or 1.
The last one's description was Black Goat, so it's got to be like almost nothing left.
Yeah, we have very little.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to find some sort of Let's Play content to replace that on top of other stuff.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, well, either way, what do you have coming up on your stream, Dalsson? You're gonna finish Overlord, probably?
I'm gonna finish Overlord. After that, I really, honestly don't know. I kind of play it by ear.
You can try Hob.
I could try Hob. I might do some of those weird games that like. No, I mean this wouldn't be good for my morning streams because those games. I was thinking maybe I could try some of those weird games that like the viewers control, like Clone Drone in the Thunderdome. I forget exactly what it's called, but I was thinking of streaming some of that. But I probably need you guys there to like
mess with it, yeah,
to buffer it for the first couple of couple of little while at least. You know, I'm really not sure, but I'm definitely gonna finish Overlord. Hopefully that goes on a little longer than this final battle, because if it doesn't, that's just gonna be it for Overlord. I might stream some more WoW. Maybe me and Rob will play some like Legion content because I have a 110 boost and he has 100 boost. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, honestly, I couldn't tell you what's coming up after Overlord. At least not yet.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it. We'll see you next week. Rob already made the druid. We'll see you next week. And also,
most importantly, the thing is, you should stay evil, my friends.